Question 14. Find the equation of the circumcircle of the triangle ABC where A has a coordinate 3, 9, B has a coordinate 6, 0, C has a coordinate 10, 8. Now, this is the circle we're talking about. So we're going to find the equation of that circle. And inside the circle is a triangle. If you have a circle and you draw a line from the center of the circle to the circumference, so you get a line from the center of the circle, you draw it to the circumference, and you call the circumference point here X and Y. That's the point here at the circumference. This line is the radius, and the center of the line here of the circle is called A and B. To find the equation of this circle, we just need to say x minus a squared, that is x minus a squared, plus y minus b squared, and that is y minus b squared. And that will be equal to r squared. And that's the equation of that circle. So to find the equation of the circle that we're talking about, we need to find the center of the circle coordinates. If we know the coordinate of the center, we can find the equation of that circle. Also, we need to find the radius, and the radius is between the center and any point on the circumference. Now we've got this triangle inscribed in the circle. Because the triangle is in a circle and each vertex is touching the circumference of the circle, that means that if we bisect this line, if we bisect it, we get a line coming through there. And also, if we bisect this line AB, we get a line coming through there. Or even if we bisect BC, we have to bisect at least two of them. Where the points meet will be the center of the triangle, which will then be the center of the circle. So really, ideally, what we need to do is to find the equation of this line here. This is called perpendicular. So this line will be perpendicular to that AB. So this line AB will be a tangent, and then the line perpendicular to AB is called a normal. So we need to find a normal equation. Likewise, if you're bisecting the line BC, then it will be that perpendicular, so we need to find a normal to BC. And then those two equations, after we find a normal, we need to find a normal equation and the normal equation here. And where they meet, when we equate them together, we can find the coordinate of the circle. And that's why we're given those 3 points on the circumference. So now back to the question. So the reason why we're given this triangle in the circle is to use that to bisect this AB, and we need to bisect BC. Those lines will be perpendicular to AB and BC. So this line will be perpendicular to that line will be perpendicular to that. Where they meet, we need to equate the equation of the normal here, equation of the normal. Where they meet is the point we're looking for. First, we need to find the gradient of the tangent here. So we've got line AB. We need to find the gradient of line AB. Once we know the gradient of line AB, we need to bisect this line, find the midpoint of this line. Once we find that, then we need to find the equation of the normal. So that's what we're going to find out, gradient of AB. Now I'll call that ABT. T stands for tangent. If I bisect AB, I get this line through there. So that's bisecting. So I need to find the point in the middle here. This point is called the midpoint. I need that midpoint. So the brown line is called the normal. to AB. That's the brown line. And the AB line is called the tangent. M is referred to as gradient. MABT is the gradient of line AB, which is a tangent. MABN is the gradient of normal to AB. AB, line AB has A has a coordinate 3 and 9, B has a coordinate 6 and 0. This is x1, y1, because that's point 1, x2, y2, this is point 2. To find a gradient is the difference in y over difference in x. So this is the general formula for finding the gradient. So we have to say y2 minus y1, that means difference in y, over x2 minus x1, this is difference in x. And we need to plug in these values and find a gradient of AB tangent. So this line here, we need to find its gradient. The gradient of the tangent AB is minus 3. There is a relationship between the normal gradient and the tangent gradient. The normal gradient here, this is normal and that's the tangent. The normal gradient times the tangent gradient, obviously they must be at right angle to each other. When you multiply the values of the gradient together, you get minus 1. Therefore, to find any gradient here, if you know 1, you just need to divide both sides by the other. So MAB, this one, the gradient of the normal to AB, is going to be minus 1 over MAB tangent. So it's going to be minus 1 over the gradient of the tangent, which equals to minus 1 over minus 3. So that's minus 3. Minus cancel minus, you get 1 over 3. Now I know the gradient of the normal to AB. All I need to do is to find the midpoint here where the normal passes through. To find the midpoint, I need to use the A and B to find the midpoint of AB. So MABN equals 1 over 3. Now we need to find the coordinate of the midpoint of AB. To find the midpoint of AB, here's the midpoint here. That midpoint, AB has a coordinate 3, 9 and B has 6, 0. A midpoint is always x1 plus x2 over 2. So halfway between the two same points, same x-axis, same x. And for y, it's going to be y1 plus y2 over 2. And that is 3 plus 6 over 2, 9 plus 0 over 2. So the midpoint of AB is 9 over 2 x value, which is now the new x1, and 9 over 2 y value, which is the new value of y1. Now to find the equation of normal to AB, that one, we have its gradient, and we've got the point that it goes through, so it's easy to find that. MABN, the gradient of the normal, is equal to 1/3, passes through x1, y1, which is 9 over 2, the midpoint of AB. If we use this general formula, which is y minus y1, that's the y1 here, equals m is MABN, x minus x1, this is x1 here, we can then find y, the new equation of the normal. And that equals x over 3 minus x, because 1 over 3 times x is x over 3, minus 1 over 3 times minus 9 over 2 is minus 9 over 6, plus 9 over 2 because I added 9 over 2 to both sides. And now I need to simplify this one and then write the equation of the normal. And that equals y equals x over 3 minus 3 over 2 plus 9 over 2. Because they have the same denominator, I can just add the numerator here. And that is y equals x over 3 minus 3 over 2 plus 9 over 2. Now, minus 3 plus 9 is plus 6 over 2. 6 over 2 is 3. So this is the equation of the normal to AB. Now I need to find the equation of the normal to BC. So I'm going to do exactly what I did to AB to BC and then find the equation of the normal, just like I have done for AB. Now I'm doing the same for BC. I've chosen BC, I could have chosen AC. Now I draw the normal line here. I need to find the midpoint, and then I'm going to find the equation of the normal here, and I'm going to equate the equation of the normal to the equation of the normal for both AB and BC, and then I need to find the point of intersection here. I need to fill in all these details here just like I did for AB. So the first is to find the gradient of BC tangent. So this is BC here, tangent. And B has a coordinate 6, 0. C has a coordinate 10, 8. We call this one x1, y1, x2, y2. And now we need to put in the values here to find the gradient of the tangent for BC. So that will be 8 minus 0 over 10 minus 6. And that equals 8 over 4, which equals to 2. So the gradient of the tangent here for BC is 2. Now to find the gradient of the normal to BC, we know that the gradient of the normal times the gradient of the tangent is equal to minus 1. So now what I need to fill in here is the gradient of the normal. So BC normal will be equal to minus 1, divide both sides by the gradient of the tangent, M BC tangent, which is minus 1 over 2. So the gradient of BC normal is minus a half. So the gradient of this normal is minus a half. Right, to find the equation of the normal now, gradient, M is the gradient for BC normal is minus a half. Now we need to find the coordinates of midpoint where it passes through, so we can use that to find the equation of the normal to BC. The coordinate of BC are B is 6, 0 and C is 10, 8. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. To find the midpoint, we use x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. So the midpoint here will be 6 plus 10, 6 plus 10 over 2, and 0 plus 8, 8 plus 0 over 2. And that equals 16 over 2, which is 8, 8 over 2, which is 4. So the point which the normal equation passes through the midpoint is at point x1 equals 8 for that line, and y1 equals 4. And the gradient is minus a half. Therefore, I can use those two information and plug in the gradient here, y1 and x1, in this important formula. Now I've plugged in the values here. Y1 is 4, so y minus 4 equals minus a half, open bracket, x minus 8, close bracket. And that equals y minus 4 equals minus x over 2, because minus a half times x is minus x over 2, plus minus a half times minus 8 is plus 8 over 2. Therefore, the equation of the normal to BC is minus x over 2 plus 8. Now this is the BC normal equation, which is y equals minus x over 2 plus 8. And AB normal equation is y equals x over 3 plus 3. So you can see the normal line and the normal line. And the point where they met, which is what we're looking for, is that point here in the center, which is the point we need to find next by equating these two equations together. At the point where they met, both here, I have to equate the first y will be equal to the second y. And that's what I've done here. Now I need to rearrange and make x the subject and find x. Basically, I've just collected the like terms. I took minus x over 2 to the left hand side, the sign will change, and then I took 3 to the right hand side and the sign changes, and that's what happened. Now I need to multiply this one by 2 and that by 2 to make it 6 in the denominator, and I need to multiply this one by 3 and that by 3 to make that 6 as well in the denominator, keeping both denominator the same. Because they have same denominator, all I need to do is add the numerator and keep the denominator. So then I get 5x over 6, and that's 5x over 6 equals 5. So I multiply both sides by 6 to get rid of that denominator, or cross multiply, equals 30. Now I need to find x by dividing both sides by 5. So I found one of the coordinates here, x equals 6. Now I need to find y. So all I need to do is plug in the 6 here or there. I could choose any of these because both are equal at the same point. So I can choose that equation or this equation. So I'm going to choose this one here. So I'm substituting x equals 6 into y equals x over 3 plus 3. So now put 6 here. 6 over 3 is 2 plus 3, and that's 5. Y equals 5. So the equation of the center of the circle is x equals 6, y equals 5. To now turn this equation into equation of a circle, these are roots, so I need to turn them into factors. So all I need to do is take away 6 from both sides here and take away 5 from both sides here, and I'm going to get x minus 6, and then I square it, and I put a plus there, and I go y minus 5, now square it, and then equals r squared. So I need to find r squared. Now that I know the center coordinate, which is 6, 5, I can choose any point at any of these 3 points to find the distance between the center and that point. That is the radius. So to find the distance between 2 points, if you know the coordinate, you have to use this formula. This is the formula you can use if you have 2 coordinates and you want to find the distance between those 2 coordinates. That distance, r squared in this case, or if you call the center O, OC squared would be x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, because this one will be x1, y1, x2, y2. But I'm going to use this one here. This point is much easier because of that 0. So I'm going to find the distance between the center and B, where my x for B is 6 and my y1 is 0. My x2 will be 6 and my y2 will be 5. So I'm going to find the radius OB. And that distance OB, that's OB. O has a coordinate of 6, 5. B has a coordinate of 6, 0. So x1 is 6, y1 is 5, x2 is 6, y2 is 0. So I'm going to plug those values here to find my r squared. So x2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So that's 0. 0 squared is 0. And y2 is 5. 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So what we found is r squared equals 25. So the equation of the circle is x minus 6 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 25. That's the equation of the circle.